Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative.
Y'all, Hollywood might never look the same again after what just started surfacing online. For decades, two of the most powerful women in media built empires around inspiration, kindness, and trust. Their faces were everywhere. Their voices shaped culture. Millions of people believed they represented the best of Hollywood. But now, a storm is tearing through social media that is shaking that image to its core. Because according to explosive discussions reignited by Candace Owens, the Epstein story might be far bigger than anyone originally thought. For years, people believed Jeffrey Epstein operated inside a dark circle of politicians and billionaires. But Candace is now asking a question that has the internet on fire. What if some of the most trusted faces in television were also closer to that world than the public ever imagined? She claims that some alleged victims privately described powerful gatekeepers in entertainment, figures who helped powerful people maintain access, influence, and protection behind the scenes. And when those comments resurfaced, the internet immediately started connecting dots that nobody expected. Two names kept appearing in the conversation: Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres. Women who built their brands on compassion, suddenly being pulled into one of the darkest scandals in modern history. Candace argues that Epstein was never just one man. She believes there was an entire system surrounding him, people who opened doors, people who controlled narratives, and people who kept certain truths buried. The moment those claims began circulating, social media exploded. Supporters demanded investigations. Critics called it dangerous speculation. But the question refused to disappear. Was Hollywood's most positive image hiding something far darker behind the curtain? Because if even a fraction of these allegations ever proved true, the fallout wouldn't just damage reputations. It would shatter the entire illusion Hollywood spent decades building.
Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do...
For decades, Hollywood has mastered one powerful illusion. It knows how to make the public believe a story. A smiling host on television, a warm interview, a message about kindness, positivity, inspiration. Millions of viewers sit at home watching and thinking they know the person on their screens. They feel comfortable. They feel safe. They feel like they're watching someone they can trust. But sometimes, the people who look the most harmless are standing closest to the darkest secrets. And right now, that uncomfortable conversation is spreading across the internet at lightning speed. Because after Candace Owens began questioning the Epstein network again, many people started asking something that the mainstream media rarely discusses openly. If Jeffrey Epstein truly had a network that reached into powerful circles, then who inside entertainment helped keep those circles protected? Candace Owens didn't name specific crimes. Instead, she asked a much more dangerous question. What if Epstein didn't just rely on wealthy financiers or political elites, but also people with cultural influence, people who could shape public narratives, people whose reputations were so positive that nobody would ever suspect them? And that's when online investigators began looking at one particular pattern that has resurfaced again and again in old interviews, talk shows, and celebrity conversations. A strange and repeated theme: pizza. Now at first glance, it seems completely harmless. In fact, many fans remember one famous moment during an awards show where Ellen DeGeneres jokingly ordered pizza for the entire audience. It looked spontaneous. It looked funny. It looked like classic Ellen humor. But after Epstein-related discussions began trending again, people started revisiting those moments with a completely different lens. And that's where things began to feel strange. Because when viewers started digging through archived interviews and celebrity conversations connected to Ellen's circle, they noticed that the same topic kept appearing repeatedly. Pizza parties, private gatherings, exclusive celebrity homes. And the way those conversations were described often sounded oddly enthusiastic, almost coded. One clip in particular caught the attention of online researchers.
Get on a boat, you cruise down, went over to their house, they made us homemade pizza, and it was an amazing time. I sat next to Bono, it was a good day.
You got to get on a boat, you cruised down, went over to their house, they made us homemade pizza, and it was an amazing time. I sat next to Bono. It was a good day. At first glance, it sounds like a harmless celebrity story. Just another glamorous Hollywood evening. A boat ride. A private home. Exclusive guests. But when the internet began connecting this with the wider Epstein discussion, people started asking uncomfortable questions. Why do so many elite Hollywood gatherings get casually described as pizza nights? Why do these conversations keep appearing in interviews involving the same powerful social circles? And more importantly, why does the language used to describe these gatherings sometimes feel strangely exaggerated, as if everyone involved knows something the audience doesn't? Candace Owens never directly claimed that these moments were proof of anything criminal. But she did something far more dangerous in the media world. She told people to start paying attention. According to Owens, Epstein's network allegedly operated through connections, influence, and trust. Powerful individuals didn't necessarily commit crimes themselves, but they could allegedly help create environments where powerful people met, networked, and protected each other. And when people began revisiting Ellen's massive celebrity network, they realized just how powerful her connections truly were. A daytime talk show host who could invite presidents, billionaires, movie stars, tech leaders, and cultural icons onto one stage. A host whose reputation was built around kindness and humor. A host trusted by millions. And yet behind the scenes, that same platform connected some of the most powerful people in entertainment. Then another interview resurfaced online, one that seemed innocent at first, but only deepened the mystery once people began analyzing the context. This time the discussion involved one of Hollywood's most recognizable actresses, Jennifer Aniston. During a casual conversation about celebrity friendships and private gatherings, the topic once again returned to the same theme: pizza.
Those are friends that you guys have. You told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Como.
Yeah, that's all an Aniston. Like George and I would love you to come over for pizza, but
how was the pizza? Was it good?
Oh,
what? Did he make it himself?
Amal's pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made. Everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza.
These circles of friends that you guys have, you told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Como. Like George and I would love you to come over for pizza. Pizza was better than Clooney. Everybody made a certain kind of pizza. There's no pizza we didn't love. Again, on the surface, it sounds like nothing more than celebrities joking about food. But critics online say the context surrounding these conversations is what makes them feel unsettling. Private estates. Exclusive guest lists. Small elite circles of celebrities and billionaires gathering away from public attention. And the same strange topic appearing over and over again in interviews connected to those circles. Pizza. To be clear, none of these clips prove anything illegal. But Candace Owens argues that patterns matter, especially when they appear across multiple high-profile figures connected to the same social environments. Because Epstein himself operated within elite social gatherings, private islands, luxury estates, exclusive guest lists, places where powerful people could meet outside the public eye. Owens' argument is simple but unsettling. If Epstein's network truly involved powerful individuals across finance, politics, and entertainment, then the public might still be missing huge parts of the story. And that's exactly why the internet refuses to let this conversation die. Because once people begin examining how tightly connected Hollywood's elite social circles actually are, the list of overlapping friendships becomes almost impossible to ignore. Actors, media hosts, billionaires, political figures, philanthropists, people who appear together in photos, charity events, interviews, and private gatherings year after year. Candace Owens believes that if the Epstein files are ever fully revealed, the public might discover that the real story was never about one man. It may have been about an entire ecosystem of influence. And that idea terrifies the establishment. Because if the public ever truly starts questioning how deep those connections go, then Hollywood's most carefully protected image could begin to crack. And when that happens, the next revelations might be far more disturbing than anyone expected. Because according to several investigators online, the deeper people dig into the Epstein timeline, the more often the same powerful names begin appearing again and again. And that's exactly where this story takes an even darker turn next. The deeper people looked into the Epstein story, the more uncomfortable the pattern became. Because Epstein's case was never just about one man. It was about influence, access, power, and most importantly, protection. For years, investigators and journalists have asked the same question: if Epstein was moving through elite circles filled with billionaires, politicians, and celebrities, then who helped maintain that social ecosystem? Because networks like that don't survive on secrecy alone. They survive on connections. People who can open doors. People who can normalize relationships. People who can shape public perception. And this is exactly the argument Candace Owens has been pushing. According to her commentary, Epstein's influence allegedly depended on a larger social machine, a web of people whose public images were so powerful that no one would ever suspect them of being connected to something darker. Owens argues that when powerful social figures gather behind closed doors, it becomes incredibly difficult for outsiders to understand what actually happens in those circles. And that's where a strange visual detail started catching the attention of online investigators. It wasn't a document. It wasn't a leaked file. It was a set design. More specifically, the design of Ellen DeGeneres' talk show stage. At first glance, the stage looked harmless: modern furniture, palm trees, soft lighting, bright colors. Millions of viewers watched that set every day without ever thinking twice about it. But when people began comparing images online, some noticed something that sparked a wave of speculation. The visual layout, the symmetry, the color palette. According to some commentators, parts of the stage bore a strange resemblance to architectural elements seen on Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Now to be clear, similarities in design alone prove nothing. Architecture overlaps all the time. But once people started discussing the comparison online, it quickly became another piece of the larger conversation surrounding Hollywood's elite networks. And that's when a discussion from one of the internet's biggest podcasts resurfaced.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? The similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now...
Look at it. You know where that is too, right? The similar image to that, right? It's on the set of a famous talk show. The moment that clip began circulating, speculation exploded across social media. Forums began analyzing screenshots. Podcast commentators debated whether the resemblance meant anything at all. Some dismissed it as coincidence. Others believed it raised deeper questions about how Epstein's world intersected with entertainment culture. And while the stage comparison remained controversial, Candace Owens kept focusing on a broader point: patterns. According to Owens, powerful social networks rarely expose themselves through one piece of evidence. Instead, they appear through repeated associations, overlapping friendships, recurring events, and circles of influence that stay tightly connected over time. When people began mapping those connections in Hollywood, they noticed something striking. Many of the same celebrities appeared together repeatedly. Private parties, fundraisers, award shows, exclusive vacation destinations. The same elite social environments over and over again. And once Epstein's name entered that conversation, every connection suddenly felt more significant. Because Epstein himself moved through those same circles. Photographs showed him attending gatherings with powerful individuals across finance, politics, and entertainment. Even after his first legal troubles became public knowledge years ago, Epstein somehow managed to maintain access to influential figures, which led critics to ask a disturbing question. How did someone with Epstein's reputation remain socially accepted in elite circles for so long? Candace Owens believes the answer may lie in the protective power of influence. In her view, powerful reputations can act like shields. If someone appears respected enough, trusted enough, admired enough, people hesitate to question them. And that idea becomes even more unsettling when you consider how media narratives are shaped. Television hosts, celebrity interviewers, cultural icons, people whose entire careers revolve around controlling public perception. Owens argues that individuals with those kinds of platforms hold enormous narrative power. They decide which stories get attention. They decide which guests are welcomed. They decide which conversations happen in public and which ones never appear on screen. And in a world where image is everything, controlling perception can be more powerful than controlling facts. But just as this debate was gaining momentum online, another moment from the archive began circulating, a clip that had nothing to do with celebrities laughing on a talk show. Instead, it carried a darker tone. A warning.
State and local officials have reported cases of high fever, nausea, death, and even cancer.
Yes?
You need to get home right now. There's some sort of a weird virus outbreak and this is not a test.
Okay, I'm pulling the driveway right now.
State and local officials have reported cases of high fever, nausea, death. You need to get home right now. There's some sort of weird virus. At first glance, the clip seems unrelated to the Epstein discussion. But for online communities already deep into analyzing every detail surrounding elite networks, it reinforced a broader theme: fear, control, and the way information spreads through media channels. Some commentators began arguing that powerful institutions often shape narratives by controlling what the public focuses on. While people debate one story, another disappears. While attention moves in one direction, critical questions quietly fade away. Candace Owens has repeatedly criticized what she calls the information fog surrounding major scandals. According to her, powerful cases often become buried under layers of competing headlines, shifting narratives, and partial disclosures. The Epstein story, she says, may be one of the most complicated examples of that phenomenon. Because despite years of investigations, documentaries, lawsuits, and public outrage, many questions remain unanswered. Who truly financed Epstein's operations? Who protected him socially after his first arrest? Who benefited from keeping certain details hidden? And perhaps the most troubling question of all, who else was involved that the public still doesn't know about? Owens believes the Epstein case may have exposed only the surface of a much larger system, one that stretched across politics, finance, media, and entertainment. A system where influence flows quietly between powerful people, where public reputations act as shields, and where uncomfortable truths rarely reach the spotlight. Whether those suspicions are justified remains heavily debated. But one thing is certain. The Epstein scandal permanently changed the way many people view elite social circles. Because once the public realizes how interconnected power can be, it becomes impossible to ignore the possibility that some stories are far bigger than they appear. And according to investigators still examining the timeline of events, the next piece of this puzzle may involve a tragedy that shocked Hollywood itself. A death that many fans initially believed was a simple personal loss, but that others now believe could be connected to a much darker chain of events. And that is where this story takes an even more disturbing turn. By the time the Epstein case exploded into global headlines, one thing had already become painfully clear. This story was never going to be simple. What began as the investigation of a wealthy financier quickly turned into something far more disturbing, a tangled web of power, privilege, and silence stretching across some of the most influential circles on the planet. Politicians, billionaires, royal figures, and according to many critics, potentially powerful voices inside entertainment as well. Candace Owens has repeatedly argued that the Epstein case revealed how deeply elite networks can protect themselves. In her view, the public often sees only the surface of these scandals while the deeper connections remain hidden behind influence and media narratives. But sometimes, a tragedy happens that makes people start asking questions all over again. One such moment shocked Hollywood in late 2022. The sudden death of Stephen "Twitch" Boss. To millions of viewers, Twitch wasn't just another television personality. He was the energetic DJ from The Ellen DeGeneres Show, a dancer who became one of the most recognizable faces on daytime television. Fans knew him as joyful, positive, full of life, which is exactly why the news of his death stunned so many people.
Wednesday, news broke that Stephen "Twitch" Boss died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And now, ET has learned that the former Ellen Show DJ left a note behind, indicating that he couldn't go.
News broke that Stephen "Twitch" Boss died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and reports say the former Ellen Show DJ left a note behind indicating that he couldn't go on. The announcement spread across the internet within hours. Celebrities posted tributes. Fans flooded social media with messages of grief. Television networks ran emotional segments remembering his career and his family. For most people, the story appeared tragically straightforward, another heartbreaking case of mental health struggles ending in loss. But in the weeks that followed, online speculation began to grow. Not because there was evidence of foul play, but because in an era where massive scandals like Epstein have already shattered public trust, many people no longer accept simple explanations without asking deeper questions. Candace Owens never claimed that Twitch's death was connected to any criminal activity, but she did point out something that many observers had already noticed. When powerful industries face controversy, tragedies within those circles often reignite public curiosity about what might be happening behind the scenes. And that curiosity can be explosive, because once people start questioning elite environments, they begin revisiting old stories, old relationships, and old rumors that were once dismissed. In Twitch's case, viewers remembered how closely he had been associated with Ellen DeGeneres for years. He wasn't just a background DJ. He was part of the show's identity, laughing with Ellen, dancing beside guests, becoming a familiar presence for millions of viewers every afternoon. Which is why some internet commentators began asking whether working inside Hollywood's high-pressure entertainment world might have taken a hidden toll. The entertainment industry can appear glamorous from the outside. Bright lights, famous friends, luxury lifestyles. But insiders have long described it as one of the most intense professional environments imaginable. Endless scrutiny, public expectations, constant performance, and sometimes, a level of pressure that outsiders never see. Candace Owens has argued that celebrity culture often hides the emotional cost behind those smiling public images. According to her commentary, viewers are shown carefully crafted narratives, the happy host, the joyful show, the entertaining moments. But what happens behind the scenes can be very different. That perspective gained attention in 2020 when Ellen DeGeneres herself faced criticism from former employees who described a difficult work environment behind the scenes of her talk show. The allegations sparked widespread headlines. Suddenly, the Be Kind brand that defined Ellen's public image was facing intense scrutiny. Investigations were launched. Producers were replaced. And the controversy damaged the reputation of one of daytime television's most powerful figures. Although those workplace allegations were unrelated to the Epstein scandal, they changed how many viewers perceived Hollywood's carefully managed images. Because when a public persona built on kindness begins to crack, people start wondering what else might be hidden beneath the surface. Candace Owens believes this is exactly why the Epstein case continues to fascinate the public years after the initial arrests. Not because people enjoy conspiracy theories, but because the scandal exposed how often powerful systems protect themselves. For decades, Epstein moved freely among influential figures despite serious accusations. He attended parties, met with celebrities, maintained relationships with powerful individuals, all while the broader public remained unaware of the full extent of the allegations surrounding him. When those secrets finally surfaced, the shock was enormous. It forced millions of people to reconsider how much they truly understood about elite social circles. And once that doubt exists, it spreads quickly. Every connection becomes a question. Every old photograph becomes a clue. Every past interview gets re-examined through a completely different lens. Candace Owens' role in this conversation has been controversial. Supporters argue that she is willing to ask uncomfortable questions that mainstream outlets avoid. Critics argue that speculation can easily spiral into misinformation if it isn't handled carefully. But regardless of where people stand politically, one reality is impossible to ignore. The Epstein scandal permanently changed how the public views power. It shattered the idea that influence automatically equals integrity. It exposed how wealth and connections can sometimes shield individuals from scrutiny for years. And perhaps most importantly, it reminded the world that the truth behind major scandals is often far more complicated than it first appears. Which brings the story back to the question that started this entire debate. If Epstein's network truly involved powerful figures across multiple industries, how many details are still hidden from the public? Candace Owens believes the answer may still be buried in documents, testimonies, and connections that have not yet been fully explored. Others believe the investigation has already revealed everything that matters. But one thing is certain. The conversation isn't ending anytime soon. Because as long as unanswered questions remain, people will continue digging. They will revisit interviews, analyze connections, compare timelines, and challenge the official narrative surrounding some of the most powerful individuals in the world. Hollywood may still look glamorous from the outside, but after the Epstein revelations, many people are no longer convinced that the spotlight shows the full picture. And if history has taught the public anything about scandals of this scale, it's this. Sometimes the truth doesn't disappear. Sometimes it simply waits, until someone brave enough decides to keep asking questions. And now the internet is asking the question that nobody in Hollywood seems comfortable answering. If Jeffrey Epstein truly operated inside a powerful global network, then how many influential figures knew more than they ever admitted? Because scandals of this scale don't survive for decades without silence, protection, and connections in places most people would never expect. Candace Owens has thrown gasoline on that conversation. By pushing viewers to look closer at the relationships, the interviews, and the powerful circles surrounding Epstein's world, she has forced millions of people to reconsider what they thought they understood about influence in Hollywood. Some say she's exposing uncomfortable truths. Others insist she's stirring dangerous speculation. But one thing is undeniable. The questions are spreading faster than anyone can contain. And the more people dig, the stranger the timeline begins to look. Powerful friendships, exclusive gatherings, elite circles where the same names appear again and again. For years, those connections were dismissed as normal celebrity networking. Now, after everything that has surfaced about Epstein's reach, the public is no longer so quick to ignore those patterns. Because once trust is broken, every old clip, every old photograph, and every old interview suddenly feels different. The biggest fear inside Hollywood right now isn't one accusation or one rumor. It's the possibility that more information could still be hiding behind sealed documents, private testimonies, and relationships that were never fully investigated. And if even a fraction of that information ever becomes public, the fallout could shake some of the most carefully protected reputations in entertainment history. So now the question moves to you. Are these connections just coincidences in powerful social circles? Or are we only seeing the surface of a story that is far bigger than anyone has admitted? Watch closely, because the deeper people dig into the scandal, the more explosive the revelations could become.